Hello and welcome back to another video. We have the October ScrawlrBox here. Let's get right into it and not dilly-dally about. Oh, we have some pro markers. Already seen that on the front here. Very nice. Look at these colours. That's beautiful. Okay, let's get started with the featured artwork. Oh, I love this art style. That's really beautiful. Looks like we might have some pencils and the pro markers. There seems to be a very pencil-y texture there. And the featured artist is Emily Rollo. Sorry, I do apologise if I've mispronounced your name. My name is Em and I go by M Rollo Art online. I've always loved art, probably even when I was a newborn, but I can't remember that far back, etc, etc. Their socials are at the bottom here. So make sure to check them out. So let's get into this bag first, since we can kind of see what's in the other bag. Oh, a white mice bar. Now, my partner Natalie loves white mice, as does my mum. So I'm sure Natalie will be having that one. Oh, very, very nice. And we have the sticker, which is a portion of the artwork. That's a really nice sticker, actually. I like that. Let's have a look. Oh, we could have some pastels here. No, just drawing pencils. Okay, so these are the Derwent drawing pencils we have in grape, rust and spruce green. Very, very nice colours there. They look like they're going to be a little bit pastel-y in texture though, but I like that. That'd be a nice bit of texture. We also have an A5 mixed media 10 sheet 250 GSM pad. A little bit of texture to that. Let's pop this to one side here. Okay. All right, so pro markers, but in pastel tones. Very, very nice. I'm glad we've got some deeper colours in the pencils, because sometimes that can be a problem. Now, I love pro markers. My first dabble into alcohol markers was pro markers because they were the cheaper of the options, but that was when they used to be owned by Letraset, and then Winsor & Newton actually bought them out and started selling them. Now, I didn't think they were still making like new ranges of them, but clearly they are. We have the Buttercup. We have soft peach, we have lavender, we have pale pink, cool aqua, and meadow green. So pro markers are very different to Copics and things like that. They actually have a bullet nib one side, which is very hard bullet nib, and then they have the chisel nib on the other. So they are less popular in the alcohol marker ranges that you can buy, just purely because they don't have that brush nib, but they are a cheaper alternative and they are very, very nice. I've never had any qualms about any of the pigmentation in a pro marker. Again, I have some of the Winsor & Newton newer versions, but I also have the Letraset, and I don't see any difference in quality. They are still very, very nice pens. So a very nice mix of supplies there. I'm glad we've got some deeper tones with the pencils, because we've had pastel colours before. I think they were in Winsor & Newton watercolours actually, and I found it was really, really difficult to get any contrast with things because everything was just that same pastel tone. So I'm very excited to add the pencils to the pro markers and get some of those contrasts in there. Now let's have a look at this Scrawlr zine. So as usual, we have the spread of all the supplies there. We have a little bit more about the Scrawlr artist. Then we have some Scrawlr tips and things to try, and as always, I will be talking and reading those whilst we swatch out the supplies. We have some artist's advice. And then the Scrawlr gallery from 2 boxes prior, which was box 120 when the Scrawlr challenge was Zodiac, and we had the Arctic's acrylic markers, and I think... yes, it was a Zodiac. So I actually did a Cancer Crab as well. I really enjoyed that one. It was really nice. The acrylic markers were very, very nice and pigmented. Some really lovely representations here. And then we have the Scrawlr top 3 for that same box. Oh, very nice. These are lovely, very detailed. Very, very nice. They all deserve to be top 3 there. Beautiful. Then we have Scrawlr Extra, which is featuring artworks from different boxes over the years. Some really nice ones here. This one's very interesting. It's very ethereal. I like that. Then we have the Scrawlr Extra, which is about challenging creativity, and a little bit about Inktober since we are in the month of October. And our Scrawlr challenge for this box is Hocus Pocus. So we're sticking with that Halloween theme, which is very, very nice. And Hocus Pocus is one of my favourite films. However, I'm not sure I'm going to go down anything to do with the film. I think I want to experiment with some of these and make some ethereal looking colours from them. Do something a little bit witchy and spooky maybe, but we will have a look and maybe play into my strengths as well. So let's get on with some swatching and we will see what we will do for the challenge Hocus Pocus. So I tried to follow the Scrawlr tips quite closely this time because I thought they actually had quite a lot of really good points that usually I wouldn't test. So for example here, as you can see, I am doing the layering and shading and building up just layers of the pro marker, the alcohol marker, and creating darker and darker tones as you layer it on top of one another. And this was a really cool test and I really like this, and I'd love to swatch all of my alcohol markers like this because you really do get a sense of how many shades of that colour you can get to, how many deep tones of that colour. It's really, really nice. So I definitely looked at that quite a lot. I did a little bit of mark making and I really loved the mixing colours colour wheel that they used with the 3 pens and how many cool colours you could get that differ from the secondary colours that they've provided. So we use the C429, which is this blue, then the R519, which is the red, and then the Y417, which is the yellow. And we created 2 in-between secondary colours between those, and the colour differences between those and then the, like I say, the secondary colours they provided, the purple, orange and the green, were just incredible, and they blended so well. This paper, when I looked at it, I thought it's not marker paper, it's just cardstock, but it really did work wonders. The blending worked really well, as long as you work quickly, of course. You could get a really nice blend on them. So I really enjoyed doing that colour wheel, and as you can see here, I'm doing the mark making, just testing out that bullet nib, what we can find. And then we moved on to the swatching of the Derwent pencils. Now these were not chalky at all. When I say they were buttery soft, I cannot explain to you how lovely and soft they were. They were lovely, the colours are very nice. I did a little test here and they actually, the alcohol actually pulled the pencil and blended it in, and it was really lovely actually. I didn't use this in my artwork, but it would be a really nice effect and way of using both those supplies together in the future. I then moved on to their deep dive with the pro markers and did my own version of the kind of cactus silhouette artwork they did on there. And as you can see here, look how lovely I can blend these colours. Just a little bit of layering, a little bit of going back and forth between 2 colours, and you can get this lovely soft gradient. And then these pencils just worked really lovely over the top. Now onto the artwork itself. So for Hocus Pocus, like I said, I didn't want to do something not in my wheelhouse in terms of my comfort zone of doing creatures, and so I thought mystical things, frogs, toads, that sort of thing. And I found this reference photo of this lovely frog balancing on the edge of a pot, and the pot, just to me, as soon as I looked at it, looked like a cauldron, and I thought, I can adapt this, I can make it look more spooky, more ethereal, more Halloween-esque, and create this cauldron with bubbling green liquid coming out of it, and I thought that worked really, really well. So I used the pro markers and started layering up that colour. As you can see, the pot was just layer upon layer, trying to darken areas that needed to be darkened, and then the green, I created a nice wash over it. And I think off camera I actually added a bit of yellow in the middle as well, just to kind of create a different tones and variation of colour within the liquid itself. And then I have all these bubbles coming over the top, which obviously the bubbles are going to overlay. So when the bubble's in front of something, it's going to have the colouring of the object behind it, but it will be obscured by a green tint. So I went over all the bubbles with the green, and later on when I start colouring the frog, you can see that I start layering a little bit of colour behind there, just to give that illusion of some colour behind. Now, the only place that I think I did this wrong was on the rim of the cauldron at the front. Obviously the bubble would distort the lining behind there, so I should have probably offset the line of the cauldron a little bit more instead of it being a line straight through, but I feel like it works just the same, but I think that's something I would have changed next time. So when I went for the colouring of the frog, I layered up just all the colours, to be honest. I really layered them up, tried to focus on the highlights and the darks. I wish I'd left a little bit more white just where the highlights are, but I went over it all and I kind of regretted that in the end. And to be honest, off camera, once I finished the artwork, I did go back in with Jelly Roll and just add a few highlights and a few areas of white, especially on the bubbles as well. I wish I'd left those a bit more with some negative space on there, because I think it would have looked a lot better. But I really enjoyed the fact that we had this deep purple cauldron, the very, very vibrant green bubbly liquid, and then this yellow almost reflecting off all the colours of the other items frog, and I think it works really, really well. I really enjoyed this, and I like the pro markers. It's made me remember my pro markers a little bit. They've been sat in a drawer for so long, I hope they all still work, and it's made me kind of want to do a bit of a deep dive and do some artwork and play with those a little bit, so I might do a bit of that in my sketchbook. And these pencils were very soft. I think we have received this type of pencil in a box before, so I'm going to go and dig those out as well, see what other colours we've got, and again play with those, because I like the way the alcohol ink kind of overlaid that pencil and pulled that colour and almost like melted it into a bit of a deeper tone. It was very, very nice. But yes, there are a few things I would change. I wish I'd gone a little less heavy on the pencil on this artwork, so there's maybe a little less texture. It's very texture heavy, but it's very nice, and like I say, I probably could have gone over with my pro markers just to soften that texture a little bit, but alas, this is what we are working with, and I really, really like it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I've really enjoyed these supplies, and I can't wait for next month as well. So if you did enjoy this and you're not already subscribed, I do lots of vlogs, lots of ScrawlrBox openings, trying new supplies, trying new techniques, all sorts of arty things, as well as business behind the scenes. And if you could hit that thumbs up, that would be massive for hyping this video up as well. And I will see you in the next one. So I'll leave you for the rest of the video. Goodbye.